We're going to be talking about the music industry and what's going on right now with these lovely people. So we'll introduce everyone individually shortly.
My name is Adnelli, also known as Man Like Nails. I'm a creative director, producer and artist from South East London.
I'm Heidi and I'm a music manager amongst other things. Today we're just getting together. We want to talk about solutions in the industry as well as potential ways forward. So we're just going to discuss our backgrounds and put any ideas out there and see what we can do.
I'm Jill Marie Cooper. I'm a singer, songwriter, performer, amongst other things as well.
Yes, I'm Dwayne Patrick, award-winning music producer, entrepreneur. I'm looking forward for today's conversation, you know.
I'm a singer, dancer, actor, choreographer, director, writer, producer, and dancing. I'm an OG from LA. Used to dance for MJ, used to dance for Janet, Luther, Whitney, everybody.
Well, personally, me as a business owner and working with artists, I find that there's a lot of talent out there, as Patrick said earlier, and my choice, my preference in picking the right artists is actually, I would say, because of the message that they bring. So it's not just like, oh, talent is awesome. I feel like there has to be a deeper purpose behind it, a passion, a message that's going to bring light and life. But I also need the funding to be able to cultivate them and to get them out there, and that's my goal. How about you?
I just want I want the government to really know that people have trained a long time to get where they want to be. And whilst it is, maybe helpful, or they think it might be helpful in some ways to tell people they need to try other things, when there aren't a lot of opportunities in those other things, to me that makes no sense. So to encourage people in what they're already doing, I think thinking outside the box is a good thing. Also funding, I know that I'm releasing music constantly and I feel like I've earned my stripes with it. I've invested money when I didn't even have it and put it on the credit card, but there's only so far that can go before it gets to a point where, because there isn't money in that industry at the moment because it's inactive, that we kind of come to a bit of a standstill. So I would say money, and with that, to be strategic, the government needs to be strategic with who they invest that money in. And so the artists, I would encourage the artists in turn to have a set plan of what they intend to do with that funding so that they actually can move forward in this industry as well. And I think just to really acknowledge the arts for the contribution to society that it does give, because it's undeniable when you look at the amount of money it actually brings into the economy.
It'd be good if they can see, what people are doing in some level. They're actually genuine people. Because I feel like some people just can write a good application, they end up getting funding, and there's people out there actually doing good work, in the community, and are not getting, the money. So if they can have a better system of finding out or differentiating the two, then that would be amazing, So that's my take on it anyway.
Great.
My take on it is they've dropped us like a hot potato. They're trying to take away what brings us joy. They're trying to take away escapism from most people. And it's really dodgy right now. And that leader who said that, he needs to get a new profession and become a singer or something. But no, that's why I said this time we have right now, it's time to work on your craft and be prepared for when all this stuff is over, to release your stuff and have something ready to perform and to showcase. And because people want to see live music, people want to see live entertainment, live performances. We are what makes the world go around. Music is a spiritual thing. Singing is a spiritual thing. People are healed by certain people's voices. People go and they'll see a show in a pub or at a bar around the corner, and some girl will sing an amazing song, and that song will prompt that brother or that guy to ask his girl to marry him. And then they'll come back to that same spot every year to see that singer. I mean, it is spiritual. It is it penetrates hearts and souls. What our art, music, that's what music does, and it tames the beast. So from what my perspective is, before the COVID, they were starting to take all the funding away from the arts in this country. And I think that was probably something that's happened globally because they're all in cahoots together. But it's time for a new dawn of a new day, and just get ready, man. Be prepared, because there's going to be people are going to be starved for talent.
To actually be part of the solution, look for the people that have a message that brings hope. I think too often, if I'm really honest, just in the industry as a whole, there's been a lot of celebrating the things that don't really matter. So I would encourage the government and just people to look for people that are going to bring hope and life with their message and what they're saying through music into their life as well.
And on that note, I really believe, as you're saying, supporting each other as well. It's what we need in the industry. Exchange of trades, exchange of services, supporting each other. When we don't have the funding, we can actually help each other that way and be open to it. And listen, I know your craft is precious and your time is precious, but the more you give, the more generous you are with others, the more they will be with you as well. So we're going to make way and do what we need to do in order to move forward.
Since the start of lockdown, what I found is that it was like an adjustment period for everyone, and then from the second month up until now, it has been how can we adapt to the new potential opportunities, or potentially try to create some out of the very little that is currently offered.
So how have you adapted, or how can we adapt?
Personally, I have the luxury of having the production to rely on. As an artist, I can definitely tell that things have slowed down, but as a producer, things have actually doubled for me, because stems have been sent to me right, left and center. Clients have asked me to record them twice as much as they did before, because obviously artists are more at home, so the creativity is sparked, and they need to let it out. And not everyone has the luxury of having that stuff in their house, or perhaps in an environment that they can still access in order to record the music. So on that side, as a producer, I've been blessed, but as an artist, I've had to consider how I can then get my music out and still get the results that I would have prior to the pandemic. So I think the main point to remember from this is, how do you use the tools in your position?
Well, it's been a journey, as in, the first month I was just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? But to be honest with you, in some ways it's been a season, it's almost been a blessing, in that, not that COVID happened, because obviously that's not a blessing in the slightest, but just in the sense of there's a lot of noise in the music industry as a whole. There's just a lot of people vying for a spot or to be heard. So for me, it was okay, well, I'm going to seize these opportunities by contacting people that maybe I've held back in contacting in the past, because I know that they have time to read my email. I know they have a bit more time to listen to my music. I know that they're maybe, because there's not so much live stuff happening, that there's a lot of people at home that have space and that they just have more time to listen to independent artists. I did a 12-week live streaming series from my room called Jill's Jukebox, where I just had my supporters that would tune in, and they would request songs, and throughout the week I'd give them a chance to request songs. So that was a way of me just using what I have. I have my voice, I have my connection, I have my personality. So just literally using those raw things and not relying on any gimmicks or anything artificial to connect with the people that support me. And there's an authenticity in that I found that I really was just amazing, actually. I think as a creative, we've been trained to make things work. I think a lot of people don't realise that about creatives. This is in our DNA. When we're thrown a curveball, we come back stronger, because that's just how we are.
How have you been getting on, really?
For me, it's been great. Can't lie to you, man. I feel there's been so much opportunities. Singers contacted me. We're making some music, spending time with family. Yeah, man. I've been enjoying it. I know it sounds a bit mad, but it's the truth. I've really been enjoying the moment and really been going inwards. Like financially, it's been great because, as you know, being a producer, I got more work. No, I got more work. I mean, no one was doing studio time. All the studios were closed, so no one. So I was doing studio time, and so it's just amazing. So, so my experience is a bit different. But obviously, I'm aware of what's going on. But I don't really be on social media like that. But yeah, it's been great. The family's been great. I've been really enjoying it. So my encouragement to everyone is really just go inward. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, don't panic. That's my advice. My mindset is I just see it as God is the source of my income. So regardless of what's happening around me, even if music was not to work out, I believe that God will find a way and it's going to work out.
Ultimately, all of us are facing different realities whilst being kind of imposed a scenario that we all have to handle. If the thought process or the conversation isn't one of a constructive nature, it can only spiral to the worst. So ultimately, I guess it's a concept of it's an understanding of realizing that you don't really have a choice but to stay composed and think of constructive ways to fix the situation. I mean, there's other ways to look at it. Someone like a touring singer, I would advise them to consider session singing, because obviously it's more or less the same concept but more studio work based.
There's been a lot of talk of like retraining, which can sound a bit crass when it's coming from people that don't understand the arts, but it's not even necessarily retraining. What I would say is just find different ways to do what you already do, but just different ways to execute that. Preparation meets opportunity, and that's kind of what it's about. And even when you're not looking for the opportunities, I would encourage people to still be working on their craft, because that cannot be underestimated either. Because I said to someone that I was mentoring the other day, I'm no different really. Like, people might think I'm talented, but like trust me, I hear good singers, but what might make me different is that I have myself ready. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have myself ready and I sharpen myself in other areas so that I can teach and I can do different things. So I'm not stuck.
I want to touch up on that because what singers can do also, or songwriters, they can write songs but not from their perspective all the time. So this could be for somebody else, it could be for an advert like you're saying. So they can really explore. It's like time to explore now and seek other opportunities, but you still can do things within your craft as well. Sure. So yeah, man,
I think it's an excellent exercise for songwriters to actually, the point you just made now, to write songs for someone else or like someone else's perspective. You know, because most cases songwriters that write for themselves just want to express self and what self has gone through. You know, but it'd be a good exercise for them to do something else. Yes.
Well, from my experience, every song is for sale. You have to realize that, because if you want to hold on to everything, you're not going to have a career. And how many careers do you know where it's just me? There are a few, especially in the 60s and the 70s when I used to nurture and act. But nowadays, I mean, Neo, that song that whoever took, that was his song. Jessie J, that song Party USA, that was her song.
That was, for sure.
But it's for sale. Miley Cyrus heard it and said, I want that song. So the next thing you know, Miley Cyrus did it. And now we know who Jessie J is. If Miley Cyrus didn't take that song, Jessie J would have had a longer road, you know, because everybody was inquiring. There's some big stuff happening right now. And we're supposed to be awake, right? We're not. But the thing is, so as far as people in the industry, like, we can do music because we love it now. We can do music to become famous if we want to, if that's our goal. But as far as that's why I encourage everyone to meet with everyone you know that knows how to get your single out there on different platforms, so you can build a grassroots following. Because I believe what's going to happen is you know, they used to monopolize 20 acts a year, every label, right? They monopolized the market. Now it's one act a year that each label's pushing.
Yeah, for sure.
And and that shelving thing and all that stuff, you know, that doesn't even happen. They want to make they don't get you unless you're a little bit established.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like you have to demonstrate that
gotta
you are of value.
You got a following, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, then they can buy you out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much longer that's going to be the route to go. But unless it's a legitimate market like the Latino market, Latino market. Look at the Latino market. It's because they love this artist. It's because they, it's just it's like they're all about family and all that. It's like the African market, right?
Sure.
In Africa, apparently, inside scoop is there's no forum, there's no platforms for anyone, and then the artists that become big, that's because they got a real grassroots following and people are pushing and sharing it. You know what I mean? And it's just a very, very honest climb to the top in Africa.
For sure.
And
No, don't worry.
no, go ahead. But yeah, so that's my 2 cents. But yeah, just keep doing the music because you love it. If you're doing it because you want to get bling and get women, you're not a real artist.
You're not there.
Real artists, they write songs all the
so
time
true.
because
Yeah.
that's what they
Have
do.
to.
That's their passion.
Can I add to what you just said?
For sure.
Just picking up on what Patrick said, I watched a really great documentary on Netflix about Dolly Parton yesterday, and it's not an old concept to be generous with your art, because one thing we noticed when we were watching that is that I Will Always Love You, for example, like one of the best songs ever written, and somebody interviewed her in the documentary and like, but did you not feel like, oh, I'm giving away like something so precious to me? And she was like, no, I don't care. I'm like, Whitney Houston brought that song somewhere else and she made me rich. And I was like, that's the attitude. And I think we must be really generous with our craft. We have to invite other people into that, whether that be singing with other people or being okay with giving our art to someone else, mentoring other people, invest in other people, because sometimes we forget as artists, just because we're not, because I'm not at the numbers level of someone like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, Ariana Grande, let's just think of someone. I'm an independent artist, so okay, but there's lessons I've learned from the rejections that I've had along the way in the music industry. That, like, I mentored a girl on Friday and I'm kind of thinking, mentoring, okay, but she was just so grateful for that hour and a half where I just invested into her and I was able to answer her questions. So we have to be outward focused, picking up on what Patrick said, because the minute we become inward focused, then people are wanting answers. They want to know how you navigate this, so we have to be willing to be open in that way.
For me, I was just, because at one point I was really holding on to all my work, and I felt it's because I was expressing myself and I didn't want anyone to jump on my beats. But the minute that I let go, so much opportunities come. But my question is, why do you think that so many people? Is it because it's therapy? It's our therapy.
You gotta realize what it means to be a musician. So what is at the heart of you actually making music? Earlier you touched upon, are you doing it for the bling and the girls, or are you actually expressing yourself as a musician? Yeah. You touched upon the fact that you're giving away a part of yourself, as in, because obviously, they asked. Obviously, when you talked about the documentary from last night, right? They asked Dolly Parton, right? Yeah. The reality is, it is something that comes from you. So anything that comes from you. So right now, if I said to you, boom, see this jumper you're wearing, yeah, let man take this. How would you feel? At first you might be like, do you know what? I've got 1 million jumpers. Here, you can have it. But then...
You gotta think about it first, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You gotta think about it.
How long does it take me to get home? How cold is it?
You feel me? There's many different things that come into play as of why you could either give it to me or not give it to me.
And you can decide to sacrifice or not.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically how you've kind of look at the analogy of making music.
Because some people operate from a place of lack, but they probably...
There we go. A place of lack or a place of abundance. If you operated from a place of abundance, this wouldn't be a big deal to you.
You know how honest is what you're talking about right now? But that's not the reality. So the reality used to be people would walk up from Mississippi to the north, right, to sing into what they call a can. You could make $5 if you go sing into a can. What? Right? Robert Parker supposedly sold his soul at the crossroads, right? To walk up from Mississippi to make it. They hopped trains with hobos, snuck on boats, took a raft, also for their art, to get and show the world in New York City the song. to give
You
up
have to give, yeah.
to get that production
Your
deal.
money, your
what
time.
do you have to see, right? And what do the girls have to be willing to do?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's taken our industry and it's turned it into.
One could argue the devil's playground.
It is a devil's playground. That's why there's no more music industry, right? You know, that guy from the Beatles. He's the one who got them to change the frequency from the love frequency to this evil frequency that everything's recorded on. It's a dark frequency.
Precisely.
Right?
I know what you want about.
And so that frequency's got to change.
It has to.
It's going to change with what's happening
It
in the
will
world
change.
today.
It shall change.
Yeah.
It is changing. It's currently changing now.
And always remember this: what the devil meant for evil, God will flip it and use it for good.
Amen.
Yeah, so we're all like, this is crazy, like the world's falling apart, but actually maybe it's just under reconstruction.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, for sure. And
Listen, we're coming to the day where you can write a love song again. Well, the standards of practice in the industry have completely changed, and we're watching that last remnant now. I believe you have some of the stars that are still making it, but you know, like I'm working on a project right now, and it's like people are saying, "What about this person? This person?" I'm like, "Well, I would love that person to be part of the project, but I know that they have bad experiences with women already. So if something comes out that somebody accuses them of something dodgy, and then 20 other women come out,
it's the whole team.
then that project that they're on, that it's my project, is over.
It's my money, it's my
Won't see the
time,
light
it's
of day.
everything. Affiliations, everything.
Yeah, people won't play R. Kelly anymore. And now we have to be like, oh, now we know that guy's character is kind of like, we've seen the songs he sang about women before, and is he going to be the next R. Kelly? So you go, no, I don't want him on the project.
No,
because you really have to be like cautious. But what she was saying is, it's a small world now. I think what it is that's what they need to realize. See, so many are, when's this going to be over?
So we was talking about at the start.
How can they be bored? How can you be bored? Now's your opportunity just to put your head down and just. And like I told my friend the other day, I have nothing to write about. He said he had nothing to write about.
No,
I
that's
said,
not true.
What?
We've just gone through a worldwide.
You live in the biggest. There's nothing in the history of the world that's ever been like this.
For sure.
And I said, you can write it from the inside looking out and from the outside looking in, right? And I think I inspired him too. I had a meeting with him yesterday. All right, bro, there's so much to write about, and you're still thinking some label's going to come and offer you $1 million for a deal. That's not going to happen. I think be careful what you're going to put out there, because whatever you've done for that trend or for that thing that was happening now at that time might be obsolete by then. But if you want to show your body of work, sure, put it online, let people see it, and let people know that I came from this era and this is what we were doing. But and just be ready to be a trendsetter, and hopefully, if you get that opportunity to be what do you call it when something takes off? Organically viral. And then something goes viral that you're working on. I think it's going to be like people don't realize like there's some of those viral careers, right? Like that song "Rehab" Amy Winehouse did. I mean, that was a sensation.
It was.
Before the record label released it, everybody had it. Remember?
Yeah.
Everyone had it. I remember Amy said, "Check out my new song. Download it on what was it called? MySpace."
MySpace is still around then, yeah.
And I remember watching the views on MySpace. The record still wasn't a single.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that those opportunities are there. You're there to be your own man now, to push your own record. You know what I mean? And I think you need to learn how to work the industry, the system. Because think about it. All of our friends. Oh man, I got my single coming out. Releasing the single. 232 downloads. Mom, dad, cousins, and your 20 best friends, and then maybe 150 punters who stumbled on it. You know what I mean? When, especially because I'm old, you guys are young. You guys know how to work the viral thing and the computers. Put your music on every platform. If we decide to sit down and do that work, comment every single person, watch us here, watch us here, watch us here, whatever, right? Think of that, we'd be huge.
That's a total possibility.
You know
To
what I mean?
actually nurture that fan base.
Yeah, so if you're an independent artist and you got friends that believe in you, you guys can sit down, just do 2 hours a day.
What I would add to that as well is be really wise. I would advise people that are artists to be really wise with what they're doing with their resources. And what I mean by that is sometimes people spend money on things that aren't massively necessary. Like there isn't a need to buy often, if you're like low on budget and you're just buying an expensive coat to look good in one Instagram picture, I just think invest into the music, because that's ultimately what people are responding to. I'm not saying look scruffy, but I just think sometimes we're focusing on the image, whereas actually people want real music. They want real music. So
She's not fooling anybody. We all know that the girl artists go get an outfit.
I do it.
Wear it in the video, then take it back the next day.
Oh yeah, look, I've done that.
Man, them do it as well.
Man, don't do it as well. I know some people. I won't mention it, but I know people that have done that.
Man, them do it for real. No, this is trend. No, they really do it. They really do it.
Well, they should. I'll be down to Harvey Nicks because they got some nice stuff in there. You watch me. I'll be in Harvey Nicks.
Video and then take it back the next.
But my point is, invest in the right things. Like for me, it's things like just, you know, if you're I just shot an independent. No, I'm not saying don't treat yourself, but like I just did an independent music video. I would invest in someone that can do my makeup really well, for example, because I know when I do it myself, it looks a bit messy on camera. Invest in the right things. Invest in good lighting. Invest in a good